Everyone, I'm Dean Obidala. Welcome to tonight's Dean Obidala Show on Sirius XM channel 127, April 1st. We made it to April. Spring is here. It's April Fool's Day. I will not do any cliche joke about that. But I will tell you, even though the news cycle may have moved beyond the Georgia Jim Crow voter suppression laws, and this is what happens on a news cycle. It gets a lot of press and they move on to something else. The fight is not over. In fact, I think it's picking up. I think it's becoming more effective going on right now because you have corporations, people in business and in sports now stepping up with both corporate activism and athletes and celebrity activism that is just beginning. It began yesterday. 72 black executives led by a former chief executive of American Express and of Merck, current owner of Merck and others, did a full-page ad in the New York Times denouncing the efforts in Georgia and across the nation disenfranchise voters, especially African Americans. As they put in their letter, you can't dismiss the history of a concerted efforts, strategic efforts to suppress the vote of black voters through the history of this nation post-Civil War. That's something we've had to deal with ever since. The Voting Rights Act had a big impact on making things better, but then the GOP Supreme Court in 2013 gutted the Voting Rights Act, making what we're seeing now legal. Unfortunately legal, at least for now. We'll see what happens. But this letter did something. The 72 black executives did this letter, and it pressured white CEOs in Georgia, because before this, Delta and Coca-Cola, two of the biggest employers down there in Georgia, had been ambivalent, to say the least, about this, saying some things, well, it's not right, but we're fighting behind the scenes and all this. Now they've gone forward. The statement of Ed Bastian, the Delta CEO, is just remarkable in what he said, because it's not this kind of boilerplate, we stand with people who want to vote. No, it's stunning. He actually said that it's crystal clear the bill is unacceptable, does not match Delta's values, but there's more. Wait. He says, after having time to now fully understand that all is in the bill, coupled with discussions with leaders and employees in the black community, it's evident the bill includes provisions that will make it harder for many unrepresented communities to vote, particularly black voters. Then he slams the political BS reasoning. He goes, quote, the entire rationale for this bill was based on a lie. As if to mention Trump, we know it's a Trump big lie. And a lie, because there was widespread voter fraud in Georgia. That's simply not true. This bill is an excuse being used here and across the nation to suppress the vote. This is powerful stuff. This is Delta. This is a big corporation. A lot of employees in Georgia, a lot of power, a lot of political clout. Then Coca-Cola, which had essentially been silent. Their CEO came out yesterday, was on CNBC in person and through a statement in person saying this is unacceptable. It takes us backwards. It's not consistent with Coca-Cola's values. And now the Major League Baseball, the union president, is saying they're open to talking about moving the All-Star game, which happens this July, from Georgia. It was going to be at the Brave Stadium, and to move it to another state. So a lot of things are in play. And the question is, can boycotts work? That's debatable, but I will remind people, the civil rights movement that really began in earnest in the 1950s, the first big event was a boycott that was successful. It was the Montgomery bus boycott in Alabama. This is led by a little-known reverend at the time, Martin Luther King and others. This is when Rosa Parks would not give up her seat. And they went on for over a year. It went from December 1955 to December 1956 of a boycott of the busing, because at first it was about they wanted more black employees. They didn't want to have to sit in a certain part of the bus. And ultimately it became, we don't want segregated buses by law at all. It's mass transit. It should be integrated. After 1 year of boycotting, which involved violence by the other side, they blew up Martin Luther King's house. They bombed his house and other activists. They put some in jail. I'm talking about the white supremacists on the right. They won. Now, they didn't win because of economic pressure. They won because of federal courts, the district court level, and then ultimately in 1956, in a famous case, Supreme Court ruled it was unconstitutional to have segregated buses and mass transit. But still, it worked. What's going on today is you don't need the economic boycott just in Georgia. It's bad PR for these companies. It's bad PR for the state, I'm saying. These companies pressuring them have to deal with not only economic concerns, but their own employees. Which side are they going to be on? Embracing representation, embracing Americanism or embracing white supremacy? That's what we're getting. That's what it comes down to. And the question is going to be is, how much pain are the white supremacists willing to absorb to keep their white supremacist power structure? And I mean economic pain, not physical pain. How much economic pain are they willing to sustain and deal with before they will give in on these laws? Now, the legislature is out of session in Georgia already, but the election is not till next year. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's one path in the courts going on right now. Lawsuits have been filed. Another is this activism, corporate, celebrity, grassroots, all of us playing a role in this. It's not over. Fight's not done. You know, the idea one day we'll overcome from the civil rights movement still resonates today. And that's kind of remarkable. In 2021, we're still fighting over civil rights, over simply ensuring that all Americans can vote. And we're not going to allow the suppression of votes targeting African-American, brown voters, and also lower-income white people. Not going to allow it. This is the United States of America. It's 2021. Just not happening on our watch. So we'll talk about that more on my show tonight. I'm live 6 to 9 p.m. on Sirius XM channel 127. It's called Progress. We're all about progress. There are free trials on the website. Go to the website. Get a free trial. Join us. Call in. Be a part of our family. We've got a lot of work to do. We're still fighting for civil rights. We're still fighting against white supremacy. Fight's not over, my friends. Remember, if you want progress, stay active. Thanks for tuning into the preview of tonight's TThe Show.